Okay, in this video, we're going to work out some SAT problems. Let's see the first one. The first question is, if x minus 1 divided by 3 equals k and k equals 3, what is the value of x? Well, that means x minus 1 divided by 3 equals to 3. Now what do? We can do cross multiplication. We do 3 times 3, which is 9, equals to 1 times x minus 1. Or 1 times any number, anything will be anything. Now we add 1 on both sides. So x equals to 10. Right? That's it. So the answer is D. Well, let's see 3 first, because otherwise I have to click more buttons. 3 says, on Saturday afternoon, Ahmed sent M text messages each hour for 5 hours. So how many messages he sent in total? 5 times M, right? And Tyrone sent P text messages each hour for 4 hours. So how many Tyrone sent? 4P. Right, so let's write down here. So 4P for Tyrone, and Ahmed sent how many in total? Each hour for M for 5 hours. Okay, so what is the question? The question is asking, which of the following represents the total number of messages sent by both of them? Well, that means total means add those two. So now let's compare this. 5M plus 4P. 5M plus 4P. That's a C. Let's move this up a little bit. First, let's erase everything. Now let's see 2. So 2, we're given this I, this is called imaginary number. I equals square root of -1. So in complex number system, we have imaginary part, which this is the definition of I. I is an imaginary number with a square root of -1. So what is the sum of this number plus this number? We call this a complex number. Complex number. And the first part is called a real number. It's a real part. And the second one with I, that's the imaginary part. So when we add those two numbers, we add the real with real. We add real with real. So here we have 7 plus -8 in the real part. And then we add the imaginary part with the imaginary part. So I have 3I plus 9I, right? 7 plus -8, that's -1. Then plus 3 plus 9, that's 12. So get a -1 plus 12I. So which is 8. Now let's say number 4. Kathy is a repair technician for a phone company. Each week she receives a batch of phones that need repairs. The number of phones that she has left to fix at the end of each day can be estimated with a function, with an equation or function, right? With this equation. So P equals 108 minus 23D, where P is the number of phones left, and the D is the number of days she has worked that week. So the question, what is the meaning of value 108? 108 in this equation, right? So she started work to repair phones. So this 108 is the starting number of phones, right? Because as she works down, as she repairs, she gets less and less phones to repair. So this 108 is the number of phones she started to repair in a day. Let's check A, B, C, D. So Kathy will complete repairs with 108 days. No. Kathy starts each week with 108 phones to fix. Yes, right, yes. Well, we can, when you really take SAT, you don't have to go further anymore. But it's just, we're not really taking the test. Let's check CND, see what kind of options are there. Kathy repairs phones at a rate of 108 per hour. No, the rate is the date, right? So each day repairs 23. And the D, Kathy repairs phones at a rate of 108 per day. No, right? So it's a B. All right, that's this. Let's clear everything and move to the next question. Okay, let's see 5. 5 will have this this expression. We have 3 terms, right? Then we have this expression. We have also 3 terms, and the operation is a subtraction. Right, we'll subtract those 2 group of things. What do we need? We need to find the like terms. Like terms. Like terms means the variables are the same, and the exponent of the variable carries the same too. So let's check. So in the first group, we have x squared y. In the second group, we have negative x squared y. Yes, those 2 are like terms, because the variable is x and y, and x is raised by 2, and y is raised by 1. So those 2 are like terms. So let's write here. So I have x squared y minus negative x squared y. Well, minus equals plus, right? So that means 1 by default, that's 1 in front of this. That's 1 in front of this. So 1 plus 1, so we have 2 x squared y. Now we can check. You see, we go to A, B, C, D, we check. A is not right, right? B is not right. C and D are options. Now let's go check the second one. Let me change my color. So in the second term, I have negative 3y squared in the first group. Then I have negative 3y squared in the second group, but I do minus. In the same term, minus itself, that becomes 0. So those 2 become 0, because minus and negative will become plus. 1 is negative, 1 is positive, that gets 0. So, if you are really taking SAT test, you don't have to go further anymore. So it's because you know the answer is C already, right? But for us, let's check. What's wrong with the D. D, we have this. D, we have 3 terms, right? 5xy squared and 3xy squared. Yes, indeed, I like term. But we have 5 minus 3, which is 2. So we should have a 2xy squared and know this term, because this term is 0. That's 5. Let's look at 7 first. Then we do 6. So given this equation, m equals to a very complicated equation. The numerator will have a product of 2 groups, right? The denominator will have subtraction. Denominator will have 2 terms. So be very careful to figure out how many terms we have. With this subtraction, that separates. The numerator will have 2 terms. The denominator will have 2 terms. The numerator will have 1 term, because multiplication works as a glue expressions or numbers together. So let's see the question. The question is saying the formula above gives a monthly payment M needed to pay off a loan of P dollars at R% annual interest over a month. Okay, so this is the payment equation. So the question is, which of the following gives P in terms of MRN? Which means we want to solve for P. We want to write P in terms of other variables. Well, let's check this. Let me just erase everything first. And move up a little bit to see all the options. We have 4 options here, right? Now, let's see. P is here. P is here, right? So what do we do? Just imagine this humongous expression as something divided by something, right? Think about it as K divided by S. Call the numerator K, call the denominator S. If we have a KSP equals to M, we want to get a 1P, what do we do? Let me change my color. We want to multiply by its inverse, right? We want to multiply by both sides by S over K. S over K. So then KS divided by KS, that's just 1. So we get a P. P equals to S over K times M. And that's it. So we do the same, right? So P equals to S over K. So now this one will be in the numerator. Yeah, this one will be this one will be in the numerator. And the numerator will become the denominator. Okay, let's go to our options. Let's go to our options. So option A, no, right? You see the denominator is still denominator. Denominator above, still denominator in A, no. Then check B. Yes, do you see B? Yes, you see the denominator now in the numerator. And the numerator now in the denominator. Yes, so B is right. B is right. Okay, let's move to 6. So 6, we're given this equation. H, we have 2 variables, H and A. So the question is saying, a pediatrician uses the model above to estimate the height H of a boy in inches in terms of the boy's age 8. So those are 2 variables, right? H means the height of a boy, and A is the age of the boy. So in years between the age of 2 and 5. Based on the model, what is the estimated increase in inches of a boy's height each year? Well, let's ask in the rate of change, because the increase in inches. So this is a y equals mx plus b form. So we know the rate of change is the slope. The slope in this case is a 3. So that's 8. That's it for this question. Let's see, A and 11. Let's see number 8. Number 8 is saying if A over B were given this condition, A over B equals to 2. You know, we can write as A equals to 2B, right? Just multiply B on both sides. Then the question is, what is the value of 4B over A? Well, 4B over A, we just change A to B to B. So that's a 4B divided by A is 2B. B divided by B is 1. 4 divided by 2, that's 2. So the answer is C. Let's see 11. 11, we're given 2 equations, right? We're given B, C equations. So question says, in the questions above, B and C represent the price per pound in dollars of beef and chicken. So B represents beef, the weight of beef, C represents the weight of chicken, respectively. So X weeks, so the X is a variable. After July 1st, during last summer, so the question is, what was the price per pound of beef when it was equal to the price per pound of chicken? Oh, that means those 2 equations are equal to other, right? Equal to each other. So that means B equals to C. Well, B is 2.35 plus 0.25x. And C is 1.75 plus 0.4x. The 0 after 4, you don't really have to write it. Well, we need to combine like terms, right? So we subtract 0.25x on both sides. Subtract 0.25x on both sides. Then minus 1.75 the same time. Minus 1.75, right? Because I just did something equal to something. So these two cancel to be 0. And these two cancel to be 0. 2.35 minus 1.75. 5 minus 5 is 0. Well, 6 borrow 1 from 2. 13 minus 7 is a 6. Then 1 minus 1 is a 0. So we get a 0.6 on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, we have 0.40. Well, let's add a 0 here. Minus 0.25. So borrow 1 from 4, get 10 minus 5, that's 5. So 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 minus 2 is 1. So get a 0.15x. Right? If we want to simplify this equation, or if we don't want, we just divide by 0.15 on both sides. 0.60 divided by 0.15 on both sides. Right? That is the same. We can multiply 100 in the numerator, multiply by 100 in the denominator. Basically, we multiply by 1. And this 1 is 100 divided by 100. So we get 60 divided by 15. And we know 15 goes to 60 4 times. Right? Right, 4 times 15 is 60. Okay, now, so we get 4 weeks. So this X is 4 weeks. So in 4 weeks, the weight of beef and the weight of chicken are the same. So what the question asked, what was the price per pound of beef? Right? So when we gotta go back to B. So B equals to 2.35 times 0.25 times X. X is 4. We can substitute this 4. 4 times 0.5, we know that's, what is that? So 1. So this is 1 because 0.25 is a quarter. Quarter times 4, this is 1. So 2.35 plus 1, this is just 3.35. Right? So which answer is 3.35? D. Okay, so let's move this up. Let me erase everything. Now let's see 9. So 9, we have the system of 2 equations, right? Asking what is the solution of this system of equations. So what do we do first? First, we want to line up the X. But if you have good eye, you can see we lined up X with X, lined up Y with Y. Right? So we see the first one, we can get rid of X or we can get rid of Y, either one. We can use the elimination method or we can use a substitution method, doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by 3 for the second equation. For the second equation, when I multiply by 3, I get 6y. I get a negative 3x plus 6y, right? Because 6y is positive. That equals to, well, 3 times negative 19, 3 times, that's 57, right? And so negative 3x plus 6y. So the first equation is 3x plus 4y equals to negative 23. Now I can add those 2 equations because the negative 3x plus 3x, that's a 0. That's a 0. 6y plus 4y, that's 10y. Right? 10y equals to plus, adding those 2 numbers, that's negative 90. Right? Negative 90. Now I divide by 10 on both sides, so y is negative 9. Did I make some mistake? Because the answer in the answers, there's no negative 9 for y value. Well, let's go back to check. So what I did is I multiply by 3 for the second equation. So negative x multiplied by 3, I get negative 3x. And 2y times 3, I get a positive 6y. Right, then negative 19 times 3, 3 times 9, 27, so I get negative 57. The first equation is 3x plus 4y equals negative 23. So I add those two equations. Negative 3x plus positive 3x, that gives me 0. And positive 6y plus 4y, that gives me 10y. Negative 57 plus negative 23, that gives me negative 90. I divide by 10 on both sides, so y equals negative 9. And then what about x? So I substitute into the second equation 2 times negative 9 minus x equals negative 19. 2 times negative 9, that's negative 18. Minus x equals negative 19. Then I add 19 on both sides. I add 19 on both sides. And I add x on both sides. I add x on both sides. Right? So negative 19, positive 19 becomes 0. And x equals to, this becomes 0. 19 minus 18 equals 1. So the solution is 1 comma negative 9. And those are wrong. All right, those are wrong. Okay, that's 9. Let's see 12. Then we go back to 10. 12 is saying a line in the xy plane passes through the origin and has a slope of 1/7. If you remember slope intercept formula, right, we can write this as y equals 1/7 x plus b. So the question is, which of the following points lie on the line? Oh, go through the origin. Go through the origin means b is 0. So the equation is y equals 1/7x, right? Because when x is 0, y is 0. So b is 0. So we check this. Right? Which of the following satisfies this equation? 0 does not, right? A does not, because if x is 0, y is 0. If x is 1, 1 times 1/7, that should be 1/7. It's not. So this was not. If x equals 7, 7 times 1/7, that should be 1. So this one is not. If x is 14, yes, right? 14 times 1/7, that's indeed 2. So D, yes. Let's erase this. Now, let's move. So we did talk about that. Let's go to 10. Let's go to 10. So question 10. Well, given this function, g of x, so x is variable. If you remember, this is a quadratic equation, right? Quadratic equation. And it said a is some constant. Constant means some number. And the g of 4 equals 8. What is the value of g of negative 4? Remember quadratic. Remember the graph of quadratic function. If a is positive, you get an upward parabola. That's a line of symmetry. Right? If a is negative, you get a downward parabola. That's also a line of symmetry. Right? So in this case, and also, so what does the symmetry mean? That means the quadratic equations, in this case, no x term. So this is an even function. It's an even function because no x term. So if we plug in g of negative x, you see g of negative x, that equals g of x. Because negative x squared is still positive x squared. So that means g of negative 4 is the same as g of 4. It's 8. It's 8. So the answer is 8. Okay, now let's see 13 and 15. Let's see 13. 13 is saying if x is greater than 3, which of the following is equivalent? So we have to do some simplification. simplification. And those two we know not equal to each other, those three. So we know BCD are definitely not equal to each other, right? So we just have to check. Oh, we have to check this. We have to simplify this a little bit. So how do we simplify? So let's combine the denominator first. So the common denominator, so how do we combine those two? We just multiply those two. Add in, multiply those two, some called the butterfly method. So get x plus 3 plus x plus 2 divided by x plus 2 times x plus 3, right, over this. So x plus x, we get 2x. So we get 1 over 2x plus 5 divided by x plus 2, x plus 3. Well, 1 divided by this, we just change 1 multiplied by it. So we just have to flip the numerator and denominator, right? So we have, so normal 1, we just get x plus 2 times x plus 3 divided by 2x plus 5. Well, what's x plus 2 times x plus 3? That's x squared plus 5x plus 6, right? So the answer is x squared plus 5x plus 6 divided by 2x plus 5. Well, we check, we see, okay, that's B, right? B is the same as our answer. Okay, now let's see 15. 15, on the left-hand side, we have two factors. We have ax plus 2 times bx plus 7. On the right-hand side, we have this. So we're given also a plus b equals to 8. So let's see what are the two possible values for c. Well, let's multiply out this. So ax times bx, we get an abx squared. And that has to equal to 15x squared, right? Because like terms. Then for the constant, we have 2 times 7. Yes, that equals to 14. For the middle term, we have 2bx plus ax times 7, right? 7ax plus 7ax. That equals to cx. Well, x. That means 2b plus 7a equals to c, right? Because this is like terms. So equal to left-hand side equals to right-hand side, that like terms, and then that coefficient has to be the same. So 2b plus 7a equals to c. Well, this is a plus b equals to 8. So that means we can write as a equals to a minus b. Oh, so 2b plus 7 times a minus b equals to c. Well, that's a 2b plus 7 times a, 56, minus 7b, right? 7 times negative b, then negative 7b equals to c. So 2b minus 7b, that's a negative 5b. So I have 56 minus 5b equals to c. So, well, let's check which two values. Let's check 8, 3 and 5. Oh, actually, maybe we can check from here, actually, if we don't want to do that, right? Yeah, actually, this is unnecessary, right? We can check from here, 2b plus 7a equals c. Well, if a is 3, if a is 3, you'll have 7 times 3, 21. B is 5. So 2, let's write it here. So c equals to 2b plus 7a. And also this one, the later on one, give us c equals to 56 minus 5b. So this is letter B. All right, so let's check. So A is 3. Let me change my color. So if A is 3, 3 times 7, we get 21. Right? And B is 5, get 10. 2 times 5, we get 10. And let's see this one. So that's 56 minus 5b. B is missing. So that means 56 minus 5b, if b is 5, right? B is 5, negative 5 times 5 is negative 25. And the 56 minus 25, indeed 31. Okay, so the first one works, right? If you're taking the real test, you don't have to keep going on anymore because there's only one right answer. Or if, right, for now you can just check, right? For now we can check what's wrong with B. We check it doesn't equal to each other because we have those two equations. And B, C, D won't work. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see this one. So this is given a linear equation again, 3x minus y equals 12. So what is the value of a to the x divided by 2 to the y? Well, let's rewrite this equation, right? We can write this equation as y. Basically, we move y to the other side. You got a positive y equals a positive 3x minus 12, right? You see, we still have 3x minus y equals 12. I just rewrite the equation like this. So I have this relationship. Now I can push into this. So that's a raised by x divided by 2 raised by y. Y is a 3x minus 12. Right? So I have a to the x power divided by 2 to the 3x with 2 to the 3, which is 8. I also get a to the x times 2 to the negative 12, right? Because it's 3x minus 12. So I break up into 2 raised by 3x, which is a raised by x, then times 2 raised by negative 12. Ax divided by ax, that becomes 1. So I have a 1 over 2 raised by negative 12. Well, that is 2 raised by positive 12. The answer is 8. Okay, let's see. We have okay, that's it. That's it for this one. I think this is 2019.